In a historic move, Iran and Saudi Arabia have agreed to restore diplomatic relations after years of strained relations between the two Middle Eastern powers. The announcement was made by officials from both countries following secret talks held in Baghdad, Iraq. The decision to restore ties was welcomed by leaders from around the world, who had long been concerned about the escalating tensions between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The two nations have been locked in a bitter rivalry for years, with each accusing the other of fomenting instability in the region. The restoration of diplomatic relations is expected to have a positive impact on regional stability, as well as on the global oil market. Iran and Saudi Arabia are two of the world's largest oil-producing nations, and the previous disputes had often led to disruptions in the supply of crude oil. In a joint statement, the two countries said they would work to promote peace and stability in the region, and to address the many challenges facing the Middle East. They also pledged to cooperate on issues related to security, economic development, and trade. The news has been met with cautious optimism by many observers, who are hopeful that the agreement could pave the way for further dialogue and cooperation between Iran and Saudi Arabia. However, others warn that there are still many obstacles to overcome, and that the situation in the region remains fragile. Despite these concerns, the agreement represents a major breakthrough in the ongoing conflict between Iran and Saudi Arabia, and could have far-reaching implications for the entire Middle East. Many are now hopeful that this positive development will mark the beginning of a new era of peace and stability in the region. The secret talks between Iran and Saudi Arabia in Baghdad were reportedly mediated by Iraq's Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi, who played a key role in bringing the two sides together. The talks were held over several rounds, with officials from both countries working towards finding common ground and addressing their long-standing disputes. The announcement of the restoration of diplomatic relations has been hailed as a major breakthrough by many, especially given the recent tensions between Iran and Saudi Arabia. In 2016, Saudi Arabia cut diplomatic ties with Iran after its embassy in Tehran was attacked by protesters, who were angry over the execution of a prominent Shia cleric by Saudi Arabia. The two nations have been engaged in a proxy war in Yemen, where Iran-backed Houthi rebels have been fighting against a Saudi-led coalition. The conflict has killed tens of thousands of people and has created what the United Nations calls the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The agreement to restore relations comes at a time when Iran is engaged in talks with world powers to revive the 2015 nuclear deal. The deal was signed between Iran and 6 world powers, including the United States, but was abandoned by the US in 2018 under former President Donald Trump. The talks have been aimed at finding a way to lift the economic sanctions that have been imposed on Iran and bring it back into compliance with the deal. The restoration of relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia is expected to have a positive impact on these talks, as both countries have a significant influence in the region. It could also pave the way for greater cooperation on regional issues such as Syria, Iraq, and the fight against terrorism. Overall, the announcement of the restoration of diplomatic relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia is a significant development in the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. While there are still many challenges to overcome, this represents a positive step towards greater stability and cooperation in the region. Thanks for watching.